Now, back home here, on April 15, President Bola Tinubu declared a national emergency on food security. I think that's the second one. This time he did it in proxy, urging expanded irrigation infrastructure and participatory water resource management nationwide. He did this while opening the 6th African Regional Conference on Irrigation and Drainage in Abuja. So food security or food insecurity is not news in Nigeria. State of emergency has been declared even before now, and I don't know if we've seen a lot coming out of that. But let's speak now from the perspective of a small-scale agro-business, and we're doing that with Yusuf Harun. He is a Greek business entrepreneur right here in the studio. Hi, Yusuf. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure, Ini. Good afternoon.
So we keep talking about food insecurity. We hear pronouncements, state of emergency, you know, a lot of conversations going on. Would you say we're making improvements? I know you operate in your space, but as a nation, would you say we are making improvements in dealing with food insecurity?
Thank you very much, Ini, for this important question. Now, this question can be answered in two ways. We are making improvements relatively, but there is still much more we can do to improve better. Now, the problem or challenge many of us have is that we depend on the government completely or solely to provide food or agro business. I would also want to recommend that we don't look only at the government, even though it's their primary responsibility. But we as individuals, we can go into small-scale agro-business, and it is very profitable. I, as an example, I'm a medical doctor, but I'm also going into farming, and I can assure you that it is very, very profitable. So I think it is something which we are making improvements because the government is also trying to support entrepreneurs and independent people that want to go into agriculture. But we should also take the bull by the horn and see what we can do to improve ourselves, especially in small-scale agro-business.
So are you saying that I should have a farm behind my house now, if I have the space, so when I'm done with work, then I head to the farm?
Yeah, the First Lady said this years ago or months ago, and many people made jest of it and was like, well, she was saying, oh, try and plant vegetables. But the reality is that if we plant vegetables in our house or at the backyard, we can make lots of profit. For example, spinach, or what we call ewedu. If we plant lots of it at the back, within few months, it's going to grow, or tomato. And I have done this practically. I did this here in Nigeria. Even when I was abroad, when I was in the US, I planted tomatoes, I planted pepper, even where the weather wasn't conducive, but during the summer, and it grew, and I was able to take it.
But the reality of that is a lot of people live in houses that you have tiles and all of that. When I was growing up, we used to have a bit of, you know, gardens, and even in school, you have a bit of garden. But these days, you hardly have such space. So how do I do that?
I agree with you. Industrialization has really taken a lot, and also many people are looking into IT and other forms of business or investment. But this is now where the government has to play a role. I also remember when we were young, the governments were allocating hectares of land, acres of land to individuals that wanted to do farming. I'll give an example as my dad. My dad was given acres of land along Ekpe to plant agriculture. And he said he doesn't need it. He returned the lands back to the government. And not only him as an exception, many people also didn't want to go into farming. And that is why we are over-dependent. Our importation of goods, of products, is at an alarming rate. We import virtually everything. There was a time there was an accusation or allegation, even in the Senate, that Nigerians were importing pizza. They were importing toothpicks. We can cut woods in the forest and make toothpicks, and every wood we cut or every tree we cut.
I think we've gone past that. We have to be made in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Now.
And
I don't think it's...
Yes, then it was. So that is also to answer your question, are we improving? So that is absolutely a good improvement.
Okay, but you know, the conversation now seems to be, is not about access to land, but it's actually the level of productivity. So I've spoken to a couple of farmers, and we want to go beyond the cutlass and hoe level. So while you are talking about backyard, that sounds like a hoe and cutlass level. But what people who are into farming now are asking is for the machineries.
Mechanized farming.
Exactly, because that's how you improve productivity.
So this is where the government has to come in. And the good news is that the president of AF, the African Development Bank, is a Nigerian. So we can make use of this opportunity. And I think he should give more loans to young entrepreneurs, to farmers, to people who want to go into
Dr. Akinwumi is very passionate about youth and all that, but
Absolutely.
we also have to know that AFDB is not a Nigerian thing. It's an African
it's
thing.
An African
so we don't
thing.
put him in a tight corner.
Yeah, but he also I understand that he has supported many Nigerians that have also gone into agriculture. Aside from that, also the government, each governors have to. For example, I believe the governor of Nasarawa State once said that he's interested in young farmers in his state that want to go into agro-business or agriculture. So I believe that we can do it. Even in Lagos State, in Ogun State, I have lands in Ogun State where I have devoted to planting of crops, maize crops in particular, and millets, together with plantains and cassava. Some of them are long-term agro-investment business, like coconuts. Coconut is a good business. That's where we make the oil, which we use in lubricating our skin. We also have palm oil. Also, it could take 5 to 7 years. Rubber is another good investment. It takes 5 to 7 years. So we can also do a long-term agro business. We can do a short-term. The short-term, like pepper, tomatoes, maize, crops. Then we are now going into the animal investments or animal agro business. We are talking about birds, such as poultry. Broilers can take only 6 to 8 weeks to develop, and you can sell them in the market. So imagine somebody who just has few hundreds of naira or thousands of naira. The person can buy chicks of broilers, vaccinate them, feed them. The feeding does not have to be extraordinary. You can get worms. You can get houseflies that lay maggots. It sounds funny, but you can get things like that, feed them with it. They grow in 6 to 8 weeks. They are big. You vaccinate them and you sell them. And
so
now
this
they're
is
sold for 10
years.
During Easter, Easter, someone called me, come and buy chicken, 20,000 naira. Broiler, big one, just 6 weeks old. It's already grown big. So it's a profitable business. Now Christmas comes again. Turkey is another good investment. And I'm doing it. I'm talking from practical experience, even as a medical doctor, but I've also gone into farming. So I buy turkey, the chicks, like the broilers, turkey also, they all look alike when they are young. I even have the video of them. And after a few months, these turkeys, they become big, and I'm planning to sell them in December or during Thanksgiving in November. So the turkeys will be big, and you can sell them for thousands of naira and make profit. So this is a practical, small-scale business that we can do. There was a man who went on Instagram. I've not verified it, but he allegedly said that the president gave him up to $210 million. It went viral. And he said, He said the president went to a country, signed an MOU with another country that they would import or export millets, soya or things like that. He was the one who showed interest, and he was given that fund. So I believe if we start working, later on the government or donors will also support us. But I am practical and passionate about small-scale agro-business, and I am a doctor and a farmer who can also attest to this.
Okay, so let's all head to the farm now.
Absolutely.
I think that's the message that you're preaching.
And about the mechanized farming, now this is a challenge where the government have to support, because we as individuals, we cannot afford millions. Some of these mechanized farmings are imported from abroad, from the US, from China, from Japan. They are very expensive. So the government has to encourage us, has to subsidize and even remove or provide waivers for this kind of mechanized farm equipment that are coming into the country, primarily for agriculture or agro-business, so that we can grow. Agric is the main thing. Everybody is hungry, and we all have to eat.
All right, I think I have to look for a farm where I'm going to start my own. But thank you so much, doctor turned farmer, Dr.
Love, thank you.
Yusuf Harun, the agri-business entrepreneur in this case, but also a medical doctor.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for your views.
Thank you.